the physician's paradox. They say time heals all wounds. They are wrong. Time is the wound. It is the long, relentless incision from which all of existence bleeds. I should know. I'm the one who holds the sutures. My name, what is my name anymore? Once it was spoken with reverence in operating theaters. Dr. Stephen Strange. A name synonymous with precision, with steady hands that could trace the finest nerve, cheat death with a 10-blade scalpel, and an unwavering belief in my own genius. I saw the universe in the delicate architecture of the human brain, a clockwork of synapses and blood vessels that could be understood, repaired, controlled. I was a god in a sterile, manageable kingdom of my own making. Then I fell, or rather, I crashed. My kingdom shrank to the space between my two useless, trembling hands. The clockwork was shattered, and in searching for a cure for the body, I stumbled upon the sickness of reality itself. The scalpel was replaced by the sling ring. The predictable rhythm of a heart monitor was replaced by the chaotic, deafening symphony of the multiverse. And the man who once mastered the finite space of the human body became a reluctant custodian of infinity. I traded a world I could control for a reality I can barely contain. And the first lesson they teach you here, at the edge of everything, is the one I have come to understand most intimately. Time is not a river, flowing placidly from one point to another. That is a comforting lie we tell children. No, time is an ocean, turbulent and deep, filled with currents and undertows, with ghost tides and forgotten waves that crash on shores that no longer exist. And I am the one who must navigate it. Not as a captain, you understand, but as a man on a raft, desperately trying to patch the holes, to ride the currents, to avoid the leviathans that swim in the deep. Do you have any idea what it's like to live with the echoes of a billion futures? Not to see them, as one might watch a film, but to live them, to feel them. I knelt on the cracked soil of a dead world and lived through 14,605 lifetimes. I felt the heat of a dying sun on my face 14 million times. I held the hands of friends as they died in ways you cannot fathom, again and again and again. In one future, the dust took us all so slowly it felt like a gentle sleep. In another, a monstrous roar was the last sound the universe ever made. I have felt my own bones turn to glass and shatter. I have watched cities I love burn under skies of green fire. I have seen hope, that most stubborn of human follies, extinguished so completely that the memory of it was a physical pain. And in all of that infinite screaming horror, there was one path, one sequence of events, so improbable, so fragile. It was like threading a needle in the heart of a supernova. So I made the choice. I guided the pieces. I pushed the man of iron toward his destiny. I let the god of thunder feel the full weight of his failure. I stood aside and allowed the inevitable to unfold. I sacrificed a king to save a universe. A simple, brutal calculation. But the numbers on a ledger don't scream at you in the dead of night. I live now in a world I saved, but it is not my own. It is a ghost of the world I knew. I see people on the street, laughing, buying coffee, living their simple, beautiful, linear lives, and I feel like a phantom watching them through a pane of glass. They move forward, they heal, they forget, but I remember. I remember the timeline where that laughing woman's son didn't survive the battle. I see the phantom limb of a future that was, a timeline I pruned away like a cancerous growth. I walk through a city of ghosts, of maybes and what-ifs. Every face I see is a palimpsest, a face layered over the countless other versions of them I have seen perish. The man I was, the surgeon, he would be disgusted by this. He dealt in absolutes, success or failure, life or death. There was no room for ambiguity. A procedure was either a success or it was not. You could not half save a patient. But here, in this new operating theater, ambiguity is the only tool I have. Every victory is a compromise. Every life saved is balanced on a mountain of lives lost and the futures I prevented. I am no longer a healer. I am a cosmic pathologist, performing an endless autopsy on what might have been, all to preserve what is. The greatest irony is the one thing I sought to repair. My hands have become my most profound burden. Before, their trembling was a mark of my failure, a physical manifestation of my brokenness. Now, they are steady. They can weave light into shields, open gateways to other dimensions, manipulate the very fabric of existence. They can do everything except provide the one thing I truly crave. The simple, profound anchor of touch without consequence. To shake a hand is to feel the phantom grip of a man who died in another timeline. To touch a friend's shoulder is to feel the memory of their dust slipping through my fingers. My hands, once the source of my pride, are now repositories of grief. They are instruments of immense power, but they remember every failed operation, every timeline I couldn't save. There are things called fixed points in time, moments so essential, so fundamental to the structure of reality that they cannot be changed. The universe pivots on them. They are the load-bearing walls of existence. To remove one would be to bring the entire cathedral of reality crashing down. I learned this the hard way. Everyone who wears this cloak does. We are all defined by the scars of our unchangeable pasts. Mine was the crash, the loss of my hands, my arrogance, my life. It was a fixed point. Without it, the man I am today would not exist. The universe, in its own brutal way, performed a surgery on me. It amputated my hubris so that I could learn to serve something greater than my own ego. But knowing this, truly understanding it, is a terrible wisdom. It means accepting that some suffering is necessary, that some wounds cannot be healed because they are the very things that give us our shape. Think of it. If you could go back, truly go back and undo the worst moment of your life, would you? The naive answer is yes. Of course. Erase the pain, erase the loss. But what else would you be erasing? The strength you gained? The wisdom you learned? The person you became in the aftermath? I have seen worlds where those fixed points were broken. Utopias built on paradoxes. Timelines where every tragedy was averted, every tear was wiped away, and they are the most horrifying of all. They are hollow, they are stagnant, they are echo chambers of perfection, devoid of meaning, because meaning is forged in struggle. Life gets its brilliant, searing color from the contrast of light and shadow. A world without shadow is a world of blinding, featureless white, a canvas with no painting on it. So I stand guard over the shadows. I protect the necessity of pain. I defend the integrity of tragedy. I am the guardian of the world's scars, because I know, better than anyone, that our scars are what prove we have lived. The Ancient One once told me that it's not about me, and for the longest time I thought that was a lesson in humility. A reminder that my own desires, my own happiness, were secondary to the mission. I accepted it as the price of power, but I was wrong. It was not a lesson in humility, it was a lesson in reality. It's not about me, it's not about any single one of us, because the concept of me, of a singular coherent self, is an illusion. I am not one man. I am a composite being. I am the surgeon who craved control. I am the broken man who begged for a cure. I am the sorcerer who has lived 14 million lives. I carry the ghosts of every Stephen Strange who failed, every Doctor Strange who made the wrong choice. Their mistakes are my memories. Their deaths are my lessons. The me that stands before you is a survivor of a multiversal war that no one else even knows was fought. And the victory was not a grand heroic triumph. It was a quiet, desperate act of cosmic triage, choosing which limb to sacrifice to save the body. This is the physician's paradox. In my old life, I sought perfection, a perfectly executed surgery, a complete recovery, no scars if possible. I fought against the entropy of the body, the inevitability of decay. Now, I don't fight entropy. I manage it. I understand that the universe, like any living organism, is a system in a constant state of flux, of decay and rebirth. My job is not to stop it. My job is not to achieve a perfect static state of being. That is the ambition of tyrants and madmen. My job is to maintain the balance, to ensure that the decay does not become a metastatic chaos, to allow for the possibility of rebirth. I am no longer a surgeon who removes the tumor. I am an oncologist who understands that sometimes the best you can do is manage the disease, to give the patient as much quality time as possible. The universe is my patient, and it is terminal. It has been from the very first moment of its existence. This knowledge should be crushing. It should be a weight that drags me down into nihilism and despair, and some days it is. Some days the silence of the sanctum is filled with the echoes of dying worlds, and I feel the chill of a heat death that is billions of years away as if it were happening right now. But then, I remember the one future. It wasn't the best outcome. It wasn't a clean victory. It was messy. It was painful. It cost us friends. It left scars on us all, on the world itself. It was imperfect, and that is why it worked. Perfection is a brittle thing. It shatters at the first touch of chaos. But imperfection is resilient. It bends, it adapts, it survives. Life is not a perfect crystalline structure. It is a stubborn weed growing in the cracks of a concrete sidewalk. It is a messy, chaotic, beautiful struggle. The part of me that is still Stephen Strange, the arrogant surgeon, hates this. He rages against the untidiness of it all. He wants to scrub in, sterilize the field, and fix it, make it clean, make it whole. But the part of me that is the Sorcerer Supreme, the part that has seen the face of eternity and survived, that part understands. The goal was never to win. The goal was to endure. And so I stand my watch. I hold the line. I look out at the infinite ocean of time, not with the arrogance of a man who believes he can command the tides, but with the weary acceptance of a physician who knows that some conditions are chronic. I have given up the illusion of control. I have surrendered the desire for perfection. I have accepted the scars, my own and the universe's. My name is Dr. Strange, and I have learned that the only way to heal the wound of time is not to close it, but to live within it, to learn its shape, its depth, its pain, to understand the terrible, beautiful necessity of the scar.